a fascinating week, Carlin,
Mm.
because two disappointing games and two great games. But the disappointing games, they still got a point out of. So, like, if the team is disappointing you and getting points in four straight, I feel like that's a pretty good sign, no?
It's a good sign, Jesse. And I know you're just talking about this last week of games, but
Mhm.
before that regulation win against Anaheim last night, the Kings hadn't gotten a regulation win since toward the end of February. So if we really look at the last couple weeks of games, it's been an interesting journey. So it was nice to get fully rewarded in a proper 60-minute game rather than taking it to OT and sneaking out with maybe 1 point or and not the full two. So it was just nice to see a game done and won proper. And it was a funky week just getting to that point for sure.
It was. And, listen, the St. Louis Blues are a good team. So you take that one on the chin, but then you come back and win. And then you're up against the Ducks. And I think the expectation from everybody was that they would win and win easily. And obviously, 11 games, or sorry, 11 goals in that first game. And it didn't go the way they wanted. But then you get those powerful quotes from Todd McClellan after the game about, half the team not being ready and the game was already over.
Don't be a house
You
plant on
don't
the
be a house.
bench.
Exactly. Um, and then they come out and it seems like message received. I mean,
Absolutely. He had talked about having a strong start, and that's something we've touched on, I guess, probably throughout the whole course of the season. The emphasis being on a strong start. They've got to get a strong start. The first 20 has to be strong. And I feel like since Todd had spoken at Morning Skate, he had mentioned like how big of an emphasis he had put on a strong start. Actually went into detail of like, this is what we talked about. These are the things that we address. And it sounds like they addressed it in a more extreme way than they had in the past, and message received because that start was way better than what we had been seeing. So getting the upper hand early, I think, is just what's going to help them get what we would think an easy win over the Ducks.
and some unlikely heroes in the second
Yeah.
half of the week, right? Anze Kopitar carrying the load. A lot of people used phrases like, he, dragged the Kings to that win in St. Louis, with his two goals, playing exactly like you would expect him to play. Then Adrian Kempe gets not only a hat trick in the first game against the Ducks, but then two goals in the second game against the Ducks last night. And as you texted me, my power went out halfway through the game. As you texted me,
Yeah.
right? Adrian Kempe, so hot, he's taking up all the juice from my neighborhood. So
Exactly. He's what's crazy about Adrian Kempe is we all see his greatness. Sometimes I think it takes him a minute himself to see his own greatness. So he's looked at as sometimes a streaky goal scorer, where I believe his drought in February, it went from February 9th to the 26th with no goal until that game against Minnesota on the 27th, and he scored one. And then it's been kind of like he broke the levee ever since.
mhm.
But I think he can be one of those reliable heroes and goal scoring type of forwards if he continues to kind of believe in himself and realize, hey, if I do shoot the puck, it does go in. So when he's going through those droughts, you just see him shooting less overall. It's not like he's over the top taking, 4 or 5 shots a night and they're just not going in. It's just kind of a lull completely. So to see him break that and come back and be this player that we all see that he is, that Todd McClellan sees that he is, it's just been so fun to watch. And he's just on fire right now.
Yeah.
That hat trick on Monday was impressive, and the other 2 goals, 5 of his last 7 goals over the last 7 goals in the last 5 games, and 5 of them are coming from those games with Anaheim. It's just fun to watch.
And on the other side of the ice, Troy Grosnick, a goalie who got his last win not days ago, not weeks ago, not months ago, but years ago, or his last
Yes.
NHL win, I should say. He's been having himself a career at the AHL level. But Troy Grosnick comes in. Cal Peterson, unfortunately, placed on COVID protocol. Jonathan Quick still nursing an injury. In comes Troy Grosnick, a guy who I think a lot of Kings fans, when the Kings acquired him for the second time in a few months, said, Troy, like I saw all sorts of comments like, oh, what,
Right.
great, the cup is ours, blah, blah, blah. Great game, 1 goal allowed, nicknamed the Goose. Just
That
good for him.
was
Just a lot of fun.
Absolutely. That was fun to watch too. And when you say years ago, 2014, this is
Yeah.
last, NHL appearance. And it was under Todd McClellan when Todd was in San Jose. So that was kind of a special tie-in there. And I asked Todd after the game, Jesse, because you know me, I like to get sentimental and bring out the best in people. And I got typical hard-nosed coach answer. I asked if there was anything nostalgic, or did they reminisce or talk about, hey, that's kind of cool. The last time I, played, it was under you back in 2014. Absolutely not. There was zero conversations like that. It was put the pads on and get in that. And I was like, okay, yes, let's go. So he gave a lot of credit to him, because even though people haven't seen him at the NHL level, he's not been quiet in the in the AHL. He's been a force to be reckoned with. So no surprise he showed up tonight or last night.